once again, Raymond Arroyo.
Welcome back to The World Over Live. Later this month, the much anticipated film Bella will open nationwide. But the story behind the film and the personal journey of my guest tonight is almost as interesting as the film itself. Joining me on set is the producer and star of Bella, Eduardo Verastegui. Thanks so much for being with me.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Good to see you. Not at all. Let me say, first of all, I've seen the film, I think, twice now. One of the things that I found so powerful and moving about the film, it's one of the few movies that one can actually take in today that reconnects you with humanity and with a real story of real people. And I was touched by the humanity of the film, the heart of this film. I guess that was the intention. That was the intention.
When we produced this film, Alejandro, the director, he's the one who wrote it.
Right.
He wanted to tell a story with heart, with soul, a story that will, you know, have the potential not only to entertain, but to make a difference and to touch people's hearts and minds. And our hope as the producers is when people leave the theater, they will leave wanting to love more. They will leave with a candle in their heart. They will leave inspired to use their talents to serve others. They will leave wanting to be a better person.
Okay, I want to back this story way up, back to Mexico.
Ooh.
You are appearing in the Mexican soap operas, which people can still see. I think they're still in rotation on Univision, right?
I think.
Or Telemundo, or one of those stations. You're running around with J-Lo, and you're in a boy band. What happened? What was going on then?
Well, I'm from a very small town called Jicotencal in the state of Tamaulipas below Texas. And my father wanted me to be a lawyer. So I'm the oldest one. I have 3 younger sisters. So my father wanted me to be a politician. So I went to law school for a year, but then I really didn't, I wasn't passionate about that career. So I left the school and I moved to Mexico City to pursue a dream. I started singing in a boy band for 3.5 years, traveling all over Latin America. And right after that, I started doing soap operas. We call them telenovelas in Mexico.
Right.
Now, if you want to make a living as an actor in Mexico, we don't have so many options like here in America. Over there, you either do soap operas or soap operas.
Yeah, exactly.
So
those are the options.
That's what I did for almost 4 years. And after that, I moved to Miami, the capital of Latin America, to record my first solo album in Spanish, because at the same time Miami is the capital of Latino music. And I recorded my first solo album in Spanish over there. I lived there for 2 years, and one day I was flying from Miami to Los Angeles to promote that album. And on the plane I was sitting with my manager, and besides him was this person who happens to be the VP of casting for 20th Century Fox. Make a long story short, he invited me to do an audition for this film he was working
in Hollywood.
In Hollywood, a film that he was working called Chasing Papi. I told him, I don't speak English. I mean, I knew how to count 1 to 10, and you know, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, you know, things like that.
Right.
But he told me, why don't you just memorize the 5 pages of the audition and give it a try? So that's what I did. I remember the only perfect English that I knew were those 5 pages. And making a story short, I did the audition, I got the part, moved to LA, immersed myself in the language, not allow myself to speak Spanish with anybody, so I can force myself to start thinking in English. So now I've only been speaking English for a few years, and you understand what I'm saying?
I do understand. Yeah, I do. It took.
Because sometimes I don't even understand myself. But anyway, and that's when I realized many things in my life. After finishing that film in Los Angeles, after 12 years of career, I realized that I was empty. I realized that something was missing. I realized that the reasons why I wanted to be in this career when I was 18 years old were very superficial reasons. I was very immature. You know, everything was the fame, success,
getting
money.
on the magazine covers.
Exactly. I was seduced by that environment. So after 12 years of working really hard, achieving all that, all this success and all that, you know, fame and money and everything, you know what? Something was missing. I was not happy.
Missing?
I didn't know what it was at that time. So that's when I met my English teacher, who not only she taught me English, but she's the one that literally, she started questioning a lot of things in my life, you know, like, you know, why are you doing what you're doing? How are you using your talents? What kind of stories you want to tell, and why, and who is guiding your life, and you know, things like that. And in the beginning, I was like, you know, too proud to let her in, you know, but she persisted in a very loving way, and you know, she's a very wise person. And after 6 months of very meaningful conversations, I realized that she was right in pretty much everything, and I was wrong in pretty much everything. But besides her, I really believe, and I always mention this because I believe there is nothing more powerful than the prayers of a mother. And my mother told my father one day, you know, our son is lost. He doesn't listen to us anymore. And whatever we tell him, you know, he ignores us. And I was impossible, you know. I was completely lost and confused and seduced by the whole environment, the entertainment environment. And my mother told my father, you know, I'm afraid that I'm going to receive a call in the middle of the night with the horrible news. You know, either he's in jail or he's dead or something like that. And she told him, you know what, if my words doesn't touch his heart anymore, my prayers will touch his heart one day. And I believe that this young lady, my English teacher, was the answer of my mother's prayer, because, I mean, what are the odds? What are the odds in Hollywood for somebody like me, you know, attached to the world, a slave to all these, you know, things that I was attached, all of a sudden, you know, recognizing that what I was doing was wrong. And I remember one day when she was looking at me and she said, Eduardo, if you really believe in God and you believe in the Ten Commandments and you recognize that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit and you love God, why are you breaking the commandments? Why are you corrupting your body? Why are you insulting him? And she left, and that was it. That was a moment. It was a moment.
A turning point in your
life. Yes, that was a moment for me.
I want to pick up on something. We talked about this earlier. You, at that point, then make a decision, right, about the types of projects you will or will not accept. Which were those?
Well, at that time, I didn't even know if I wanted to be in Hollywood. At that time, I was very confused. I mean, I knew that I was hurting, you know, my family. I knew that I was poisoning our society by the projects that I was involved. I was hurting myself, but what broke my heart was when I realized that I was offending God with the talents that He gave me. And so at that time, the only thing I wanted to do is, you know, I was just telling God, please forgive me, and please forgive me, please forgive me. I was just crying for days and days and days, and that's when I recognized that sometimes our own dreams, they can be our worst enemies if those dreams are not in line with God's will. I recognize what Blessed Mother Teresa said, you know, we are not called to be successful, we are called to be faithful to God. That is our success. Now, if by being faithful to God, success comes, thanks be to God. But if it doesn't come, thanks be to God. So I knew for the first time that I was not born to be a movie star. I wasn't born to be a producer. I was not born to be famous. I was born to know and to love and to serve Jesus Christ. That was my only goal. And so I really didn't care about my career anymore. That's when I went to see Father Juan Rivas and asked him, Father, I need guidance, I need help. You know, I don't even know if I want to do this anymore because I'm afraid, you know, please help me, give me some books to read, you know. And
this is an interesting turning point as well in your life. Before I go into that, I want to tell our viewers and listeners, if you have a question, give us a call, 1-800-221-9460, or internationally you can reach us at 205-271-2980, or drop us an email, worldover@awtn.com, worldover@awtn.com. We'll try to get as many calls and emails as we can. You go to Father Rivas and you say, you come to a revelation one day.
Yes.
I should be a missionary in South America, in Brazil.
First, I told him, please hear my confession. That was the first thing.
Okay.
And after that, he gave me...
Yeah, don't reveal the confession.
I know.
I asked for new tidbit bits here, but you don't have to break that kind of news.
My confession myself. Anyway, so he gave me 2 books right after, you know, my confession. And one was Rome Sweet Home from Dr. Scott Hahn. And that is the book that literally changed my life, because after reading that book, that's when I started going to Mass every day. And then he gave me another book that talks about giving 2 years of your life to Christ to discern what He wants from you and doing missionary work. So I thought, okay, this
is what I should be doing.
Exactly. So I sold everything, and I wanted to go to Brazil, to the jungle.
Now, and you had gone now 4 years without working. Is that correct?
Well, at that time was the first year.
Okay, it was for year 1.
The first year,
okay.
Year 1. So I told him, I went back to see Father Juan Rivas, and I told him, Father, I sold everything. I'm going to Brazil, to the jungle, to do missionary work, to help the poor. And he was looking at me and, where are you going? I'm going to the jungle. I need to go there. I need to clean, you know, the dirt that I had in my soul for all the sins that I did in my past. And I need to give 2 years of my life to Christ to discern what He wants from me. He said, Eduardo, that's not for you. What do you mean it's not for me? Because Hollywood is a bigger jungle. And you need to stay